Hi, I am Clarissa Swenson, one of the co-founders of AuthorPreneur Central, and today I'm going to be comparing a book printed with AuthorPreneur Central alongside a book printed with a print-on-demand service. This one particularly was printed with IngramSpark. So to begin with, we'll kind of just compare these side by side. We're just going to kind of look at the cover to begin with. So IngramSpark and Amazon and really any print-on-demand service doesn't currently allow you to have a dust jacket. So that's kind of a nice part about printing traditionally, is you have the option to have a dust jacket. So you also have the option to print on the spine. You can print on the spine with print-on-demand service as well. I know that they have a minimum page count, and it's a bit larger, I think, than most children's books are. I think the page count that it has to be is 40 pages or more, and most children's books are 32 pages. So if you follow that kind of general guideline of 32 pages, you wouldn't be able to print on the spine. You wouldn't be able to print words on the spine. Anyways, another great part is that with print on demand, you only have the option of doing glossy or matte, whereas when you print traditionally, you can do all sorts of things. You can do matte, and you can have spot UV. You could choose to do embossing, where you have the raised lettering on your title, or you could have your raised characters. With print-on-demand services like Amazon or IngramSpark, you can only do glossy or matte. So you're kind of limited there. So the next difference between printing with a print-on-demand service is that you don't have the option to print on the inside of the cover, and you also can't print on the end pages. So you'll notice that these pages are white, and there's 4 of them, really. There's 4 white pages here, which is kind of annoying before you can actually start printing your story. And this is particularly because the way my story is laid out, it's a spread, so normally you would be able to print on this page as well, but you would still have this extra white paper here. With printing traditionally, you don't have that limitation. You can print on the inside. You can make it just one color like I did here, or you can print a whole image that has text and everything on it as well. So you don't have that limitation. So the next thing is that print-on-demand services do not coat their paper. So the interior of your book is going to be uncoated. So it's not going to have any gloss to it. It's not going to have any sheen to it. It's just paper with ink on it, I guess. I think that it wouldn't last as long because there's no gloss or sheen or anything to it. With printing traditionally, you do have the option to put matte or glossy on the inside. So I did matte, and there's still a sheen to it. So it does still have a coating on it. It has a matte coating, whereas with print on demand, there's no coating on it. It's just uncoated. So the other thing about printing on demand is the paper thickness. So with traditional printing, you can go with a 105-pound thickness paper. With printing on demand, the highest thickness that I was able to go was 85-pound. And the one problem with that is that you can kind of see through. I mean, when you have a white page like this one, you can kind of see the colors through. I don't know if the camera's really going to catch it, but you can kind of see the colors through the paper. And so that's kind of why I like to go with a thicker paper. And I had no option to go any higher than 85-pound with IngramSpark. And I believe Amazon's the same way. I believe they only do 75 or 85-pound. With my traditionally printed book, I got 105-pound paper. You can't see through the white pages at all, so it's really nice. So then we also have the vibrancy of the colors. So with IngramSpark, I chose to pay $2 more per book to get their premium color. They have their standard color and they have their premium color. With the premium color, kind of funny, but I paid more to have it done. And it is still not as vibrant as the color, just the regular color that they do when you print traditionally. It's still not nearly as vibrant, and I paid $2 more per book to get it done, to get the premium color from IngramSpark. And I didn't pay anything more for the nice color that I got traditionally printing. So you can really see a huge difference between the two. These are the same page. This one is printed with IngramSpark. This one is printed with AuthorPreneur Essential, and there is just a huge difference in the vibrancy of the colors. And keep in mind, this one is the premium color from IngramSpark. So if you got the standard, there would be an even bigger difference. And I don't recommend going with a standard color if you do print with IngramSpark. I think that it's just, when you compare them side by side, you'll see. So another difference between print on demand and printing traditionally is the way that they are bound. So with print on demand, they can do single pages, so you don't have that limitation of needing to have your page count in multiples of 4 like you do with traditional printing. They just kind of put the papers together and they glue them into the bind with print on demand. I know that they do offer saddle stitch and when you do paperback, and they do staple them into the book. But with traditional printing, they actually go in and they fold 4 papers together and they sew them into the book. So I think it's really nice, and I think it makes it so they last longer. So you'll see at the end of my book here, I chose to print my last page on the inside of the cover. So it's kind of a fun little recipe here. I couldn't do that with IngramSpark. I also noticed that with every book with IngramSpark, and I believe Amazon does this as well, is they put their barcode on the book. And they don't do that when you print traditionally. So that's kind of another thing to keep in mind, is they do put their barcode on your book, whereas you can put your own barcode just on the back of the book when you print traditionally. So those are just some of the differences. You'll notice here that I did a matte coating on my cover, on my jacket as well. I did it on the inside of my cover also, where I did a matte coating, and then I did a spot UV on specific things. So I did it on my little cup and cookie right here. So yeah, so those are some of the differences. Personally, I think there's a huge difference in quality between the two. So with this book that I printed with IngramSpark, I paid about $10, and that was for printing. I also paid shipping on top of that, which was probably about another $1 or $2 per book. And I had no minimum quantity, of course. But obviously there's some fallbacks, like the way it's bound, the fact that you can't print on the spine, the fact that you have lower quality ink and you can't print on the inside of the cover or on the end pages. With this book that I printed through AuthorPreneur Essential, I believe I paid around $4. And that was because I got the dust jacket and I got the spot UV, and I chose to get the spot UV on the cover underneath the jacket as well. So I paid around $4. I think maybe it would have been a little bit higher, like $4.50. And that's with all those extra things. If I was to get the exact same specs as what I did on IngramSpark, but including the higher quality paper, printing on the spine, being able to print on the end pages, having all those benefits, I would have paid about $3 a book. So the biggest difference, and the reason why people tend to go with print-on-demand services, is because of you can get 1 book or you can get 20 books. You don't have the limitation of needing to get a minimum, order quantity. And so, yes, that's definitely something to keep in mind. However, I'm not sure how you would necessarily make a profit when you're going through print on demand, because you still have to pay for illustrations, editing, formatting. In the end of the day, if you were putting your cost per book, it probably meets how much you're selling your book for, essentially. Like when you're really counting formatting and editing and paying for illustrations, it's probably the same as what you're selling the book for. So there's a huge difference in the price difference between printing on demand and printing traditionally. And the one, downfall, I guess some people could consider it a downfall, is the fact that there is a minimum quantity. When you're printing traditionally, the books are coming in from overseas, and they're very expensive to ship. So you're going to have a minimum order quantity, which is going to be, with AuthorPreneur Essential, it's 1,000 books. And I know 1,000 might seem, a little bit intimidating, but it is an investment. And when you consider that the cost of 1,000 books is about what you would pay for the cost of 300 books on IngramSpark, and there's so much higher quality, it's kind of an easy choice. If it's an option, go for it. So again, I am Clarissa Swenson from AuthorPreneur Central, and we offer very affordable, high quality printing. Go check us out at authorpreneurcentral.com, and yeah, thanks for watching.